and that is a community feel to pets this year. So we're trying to support everybody. We want, there's an old joke in pets, Jeff, that pets only cared about you if you hadn't registered yet. And we didn't want people to have that feeling. So we wanted people to know that we were supporting you in December and January and February, certainly in March at the event. And then our leaders were available to you after pets, after Great Lakes Pets. So April, May, June. And there's even talk right now of assigning the PNs that are coming in, the president's nominee, and also the president's elect, some sort of a mentor or a sponsor, just like we do for the district governors. I don't think that's been done, at least at the pets level before. Hey, Alan, welcome. So as part of that community, guys and ladies, we are doing this little session tonight to help you be more effective when you're repping anything, anywhere. And we know that you're going to be with us in Kalamazoo. We certainly want it to be worth your time and money, so we're going to tool you up for that. Do you have any questions about the format before we get started?
Nope.
Okay, it's going to be fast-paced. We'll allow questions and answers, of course, as we go. And we want to thank Kevin Garrison for setting this up. Kevin, are you good to go?
I am, thank you.
All right, let's get started. I'm addressing you as lead trainer for the Great Lakes Rotary Pets event, which happens this year, 2023, from March 9 through 11. It's in Kalamazoo at the fabulous Radisson Plaza Hotel. Many of you have been there before. It's a kind of an understated jewel on the west side of the state. Beautiful place, and they've just remodeled it, so we can't wait to see everybody there. So this session is about helping you be more effective in what we sometimes call the House of Friendship. Some people call it doing booth duty. And what happens, my experience, and I've been on both sides of it, I've done a lot of booth duty when I was in the telecommunications industry.
We thought if you and Hannah and one other person sat back there, probably we could speak.
Bill, is that coming from your end, maybe? Yeah. Put yourselves on mute, guys, until you have a question. Let's do that. And you'll keep the line quiet.
What's the name of that part? Wonderful.
And Kevin, you've got me on mute now. There you go. Okay, I think we're good now. Thank you. So because I've done booth duty myself, I know this about people. It's a human condition. Is that the dynamic changes when people are in a booth. I don't know, we stop talking to each other like people. And I don't know why this is. I don't know if there's a pressure from the booth side to make sure that you get the word out to people. In some cases, we're trying to get them to buy something. In some cases, we're trying to teach them something, but we don't know how much time we have. It's just an awkward dynamic. And I started to think about this, and I've actually published about it. I'm going to be pulling some of my notes tonight from this book called Work Hacks. And I want you to write down 5 things. That's all I have for you tonight, is 5 little lessons on how you can be more effective in this environment. And I think you'll find them very helpful. I'm also going to paste some free stuff into the chat. And what you can do in chat is click those links anytime during this session, and your browser will open those windows, and then you can check out the free stuff after the session closes. Fair enough? All free. Okay, let's talk now about what happens. These are the 5 things, and in the book, it's called, you can see it's called Selling at Trade Shows. So let's talk about number 1, which is you can start working the show before your booth is set up. And one of the ways to do this is by posting wherever you do social, wherever you let people know online what's happening with you, that you're going to be attending Great Lakes Pets, that you're repping Shelter Box Mary or whatever it is that you're doing, and you're letting people know in advance you're coming. Now, this does a couple of things. It puts people on alert that you're still fighting the good fight for Rotary, in this case, with whatever it is that you're representing. But it also serves notice to people that are attending pets that you're going to be there. When we used to go to these international shows, we would tell them what booth we're going to be in so they could find us. I also would tell them in these posts what's new, because a lot of times we think, oh, it's the same old, same old. We saw those guys there last year. You know, tell us what's new about what you've got going. And please tell me you have something new. And start talking about it, teasing people, if you will. We've got a new special announcement. We've got a new product. We've got a new amenity that we didn't have last year. I can't wait to tell everybody about it. Even if it's detail free, it lets people know that you've got something going and that people should check you out when they get to the event. So you're posting for sure. And here's the big one. In my business, my email distribution list is my strongest marketing muscle. So I email people that I'm coming to town. Now in my CRM, my customer relationship manager, I can do what's called a geo filter. So for example, if I'm speaking in Michigan and I'll be speaking at the Pets event, I can send an email to everybody in Michigan, which is, by the way, not everybody that's coming to Pets, but it's a great part of the population, that I'm going to be in Kalamazoo. And again, it does the same thing. Heads up, this is happening. And that way, I've got a roll, R-O-L-L. You know what they say on the street. You got to get some roll. So you got some roll before you ever get there. People are thinking about you, and they're already wondering how they can interface with you better when they get to the event. So that's the first one. Work the show in advance by posting and emailing your distribution list. Number 2, you want to elect yourself to the Pets Welcoming Committee. This sounds weird because, first of all, we don't have a welcoming committee. But secondly, you can just elect yourself to this position. And I used to do it at trade shows all the time. I still do it as a speaker when I go to events, is I pretend like I'm on the welcoming committee. Now, imagine this. I'm on an elevator with a bunch of people. I don't even have my credentials yet. And I say to them, are you here for the Rotary Conference? And because Rotary owns the event that weekend, they all say, yeah, we sure are. They start tittering and laughing. And I say, that's fantastic. I say, are you finding everything okay? Now, they don't even know who I am at this point. And they start answering me like, well, where's registration? And I say, well, that's on the lower level, or that's in the lobby this year, you know. And make sure you visit the vendors in the lower level. And the main stage is beautiful. It's so decorated very well this year. So check that out. And I start serving as like the host with the most. And this isn't my job description, you know, I'm just being a good citizen. You can do this as a vendor. And they might eventually ask you, well, why are you here? And you say, well, I'm a vendor. I'm repping such and such, right? And you can come see me in the lower level. Our thing opens tonight, Thursday night, where the reception's down there. Come say hi to me. And again, you get this role. So it's lovely. So I elect myself to the welcoming committee, and I start this in the parking lot when people are loading in. I've helped people empty their cars. I think I helped Jeff. It was early in the thing because you had a bad leg last year, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we physically helped you get in or what that was, but I saw you really.
Your timing was perfect. I just got it set up.
You had already been in. Okay, very good. But the idea is that you would see people on the way in. Now, this is called in the sales trade, front loading the touches. So if I see you in that circular drive outside the Radisson, then I see you in the hotel lobby, then I see you on that long escalator downstairs. I've seen you 4 times before you even get to my booth. You're a warm prospect. So this is the kind of thing that we're looking out for, everybody. That's the second thing. Elect yourself to the welcoming committee. Number 3, I suggest that you have what we call in the business a mobile booth. For the reason I mentioned earlier, that conversation is stilted and strange in the booth setting. But when you're walking around, when you're in the bar getting a drink, when you're using the restroom, it sounds strange to say that, but that's true too. You catch people in unaware, right? And the conversation opens right up because you're not talking salesperson to potential prospect anymore. You're talking human being to human being. Watch my fingers. It's like this instead of like this, right? Salesperson to prospect. Because, you know, sometimes we think the salesperson is trying to sell us something. So I just think it's a lovely thing to do the mobile booth. Now, where does the mobile booth happen? On the escalator, at the elevator, in the bathroom, in the buffet line. We have 6 meals at this event. And all of them are buffet. All of them.
What's the guy's name?
Yeah. So when you're chatting with people in the buffet, you can check the person on the shoulder in front of you. Hey, my name's Mary Sloan. Just want to say hi to you. And when you do that, you do it in a fairly loud voice, and then you turn around and you do it to the people behind you, right? They just know it's coming. I do this all the time. I'm speaking at 3 pets this year, including Lone Star Pets, which is all Texas, 800 or 900 people. The only way I can make a splash in the pool is by constantly saying, hi, I'm Michael Caruso. Hi, I'm Michael Caruso. I never, ever get tired of it. And I meet a boatload of people, and I collect a boatload of business cards, which is another thing that you want to be doing. Can I have your card? And so this is a little trick. I'll say, so I shake hands with my right hand, right? It's a little dance. I shake hands with my right hand. Then I hold out my left hand and I say, can I have your card? Or I'll shake hands with my right hand. I'll hand them my business card with my left hand. And a surprising number of people don't care to reciprocate. So I keep my hand out and I say, do you have a card? And they'll say, well, yeah, let me get one. I don't know. I had temporary insanity. I didn't know I was supposed to give you my own card. And some of them will say, I don't have my card with me. And I say, no problem. Send me your contact information, will you? You seem like a nice person. You'd be surprised at how many people follow through on that. I want email addresses at trade shows, and I will get them from you any way you want to give them to me. Business card in the buffet line. In the booth, please tell me you have a way to collect. Now, some people do just a simple fishbowl. And what you do with a fishbowl is you drop a couple of your own business cards in the bottom. That's called salting the tip jar. If the fishbowl is empty, nobody knows what it's for. So you drop a few of your own business cards in the bottom. You can do it face down. You might even say, give us your card on a little sign. And you start collecting these cards. And it's amazing. Of course, if you collect their email addresses, what do you have to do afterward? You have to input those addresses. You have to send them stuff. We'll get to that in a bit. So you're mobile booth, and it's easier to talk to people outside the booth. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is key. This is probably the most important tip I'm going to share with you tonight. You must engage people in the booth. You can't just wait for them to come up and expect them to do all the work. You almost have to drive. You know, like we say sometimes on Zoom, you want to drive. If I'm going to share my screen, you want to drive. Or in a carpooling situation, one person is behind the wheel, and it has to be you. You have to make things happen in your own booth. I can't tell you how many times, it's not just Rotary, this is human nature. I'm at a trade show, Bill, and I'm standing in the booth waiting for something to happen, and nothing's going on, man. Like I'm falling asleep in somebody's booth. Not good for business. So what you can do, of course, is you greet people and you always smile. And we forget to smile because we're busy. Sometimes we don't smile because there's 3 or 4 people in front of us. Hi, how are you? And it's the resting face, right? So always, 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 big smile. Hi, how are you? And I try to do what comedians call breaking the fourth wall. I will reach out. There's a little plane, if you imagine a plane, Plane, in front of me. And most people in exhibit booths do not break that plane. I'm behind the table, you're not, and that's how it is. I can't wait to bust that fourth wall, and I do it with a handshake. How are you? During COVID, I was doing it with a fist bump because people didn't want to shake hands, right? How are you? And I'll get that physical thing. And I let people know I'm a warm person. I care about you. This is what this signal sends. Sometimes I'll greet them before I can talk to them. They're up at the table. They're waiting to talk to me. I say, hi, I'm Michael. Give me 1 second and I'll give you some dedicated attention. Will you do that for me? And this is called the yes question. I ask the yes question. I nod my head yes. Very effective. If I can get them to do that, they will wait for me. Now I got to finish with this guy, and then I'm going to move over here and give them that dedicated attention. So all these little things, now it's like a juggler. You got a lot of balls in the air, right? But you can do it. It just takes a little bit of focus. So the first thing is engagement. And the second thing is with that engagement, and this is key, you must be different than the other people who are doing this at the event. I don't know how many vendors we're going to have. 6, 12, 18. I hope we have a lot. But you need to stand out. And people are looking around all the time. You know, we say in church and school we don't judge, but people are judging all the time. And when they come down that massive escalator, they got a long time to look around. Where's all the action? Where's everybody standing? Oh, what's going on over there? I'm going to go over there. So you want people in your booth and you want attention. You're an attention merchant. I don't care what you're repping in your booth, you're repping attention. And so you're going to pull these people in, you're going to keep them in the booth as long as you can. What's the average amount of time people stay in your booth? 2 minutes? 4 minutes? 6 minutes? Can a person stay too long in your booth? You bet. What's the sweet spot? This is what we're after. And I know this is a lot of detail and things we don't normally think about, but this is, I think, where you get the payoff and the payload from your registration money at Pets. It's expensive to come to this thing. Somebody's paying for it, and we want you to be effective. So how can you be different? Well, I already showed you one of the ways. If nobody else in the booths are shaking hands, and you're the one who's shaking hands, it's warm. Nobody else is giving anything away. You've got candy. Bonus. Nobody else has engaging conversation. You do. Another bonus. All of these are little tricks. I know that one of the sponsors, and it doesn't matter who, we're grateful, and you know, some of you may be interested in doing this, are sponsoring a meal upstairs. And we can give you, Kevin can get you the details on this offline. But from that main stage, now remember what I told you about a mobile booth and having getting people's attention in different ways. I have the good fortune, because of the way we're doing it this year, to introduce the DGEs and the DGNs. I have the good fortune of being on stage all 6 times, and I may be involved with the announcement about the sponsor for that meal. If I am, and it's one of you, I will do you a solid. You're going to hear some adjectives coming from me on that stage about you and your organization that you might not have heard in a while, because I want to support you and build you up. So I want to make you look really good from that stage. And when I do, if you're in the room, I might say, Bill, would you like to stand up and take a bow? Or Bill, stand up and say hi to everybody. And now everybody's got eyes on you, you see? You see how this could be an advantage? And so the speaker's saying really good things about the vendor. Wow, the vendor must be important. I'll go see him on the next opportunity. So again, these are ways that you can create substance in that engagement. And you'll have, great personalities and great personal charm. And those are techniques that you can use as well. Okay, so to review before we get to number 5, we know that we're going to work the show in advance by posting online, promoting pets, promoting what we're doing, promoting what people can benefit from. Don't forget about that. A lot of times we just say, I'm going so that I can represent such and such, but you never tell us what the people there get out of it. What are they getting from you? It's called what's in it for me, right? Everybody wants to know what's in it for them. You have to tell them what benefit your service has for them, whether it's a feel good or that it's an easy way to do. I know Shelter Box. It's an easy way to do international service, and some clubs are scratching their heads at this. How do I do international service? Easiest way I know is to get involved with Shelter Box. Check the box. Check the Shelter Box, right? It's wonderful. So you're going to work the show in advance. We'll do Q&A in just 1 second. We're going to wrap it up. You're going to elect yourself to the welcoming committee. That's number 2. Number 3, you're going to have a mobile booth, which is essentially you walking around doing what you do. But you're not walking around as a delegate, or what I call sheeple, cross between sheep and people, going up that escalator. You are talking to people and telling people why you're there. What club are you with? Oh, I'm with Shelter Box. Nice to meet you. Come see me in the booth and we'll give you some love. Whatever your line is, whatever your line is. Number 4 is that you're going to be different. And by different, you're going to engage better than the average vendor, and you're going to engage in a way of substance. They're going to remember it. It's not just like this friendly, shallow, superficial, artificial greeting. It's a special way to say hello to people, a special way to get them thinking about your thing. And then number 5, and this is super important because most of what you want from people is not going to happen at the event. Sign-ups, money, commitment. Not going to happen there. Everyone's going to say, I need to get back with you. And you go, well, that's good. As long as you have a way to get back with them and you follow up. Without follow-up, you wasted all your time and energy. You had what we call a presence. You had what, when I got started in the speaking business, everybody always used to say, Michael, we can't pay you, but it'll be good exposure. You know? So you'll get exposure, but you're not going to get commitment. You're not going to get checks. You're not going to get credit card numbers so much. Some of you have this in your routine, and good for you if you can work it out. But a lot of this is going to come after the fact, and that means follow-up. So my formula for follow-up, write it down, is 3 by 3 by 3. So within 3 days, they hear from you. 3 days. And then they're going to hear 3 different times in 3 modalities in the next 3 weeks. Now, this is important because you're not sending them the same obnoxious email 3 times. You're doing it in different ways. Now, what kind of ways are we talking about? Could be a text from if you're driving home and you got a top prospect. I always prioritize my prospects at trade shows because all of them aren't created equal. Somebody's going to spend a lot of money with me, and they told me, but they're only a prospect until I can get that money in the door. So at the rest stop on the way home, I'll text them because I have their cell number now because they gave me their card. I pulled it out of the rest of the cards. I text them and I say, so great to meet you. I enjoyed meeting you more than anybody else this weekend. Don't lie. If it's not true, don't say it. But people love to hear this stuff, right? And now they heard from you once, and they heard from you within 3 hours of the event closing. Within 3 days, they're going to get, could be a handwritten card like this, on a, stamped and mailed. It could be an email. It could be a LinkedIn or a Facebook friend request. There's your 3. It's beautiful. And it is time consuming. I won't lie to you. But without that follow-up, man, you can never be as effective as you want to be. And some of you are getting compensated on commission. So let's do it right. 3 by 3 by 3. So those are the 5 ideas I had for you tonight. I'm happy to do some quick Q&A about any of this. What comes to mind as you think about what would help you do this better? What would be an obstacle, perhaps? We have 7 minutes left on the clock, and we need to stop before the recording. Al.
What was the name of the book that you started the presentation with?
Oh my gosh.
It's under your elbow. It's under your left elbow.
Oh, the book maybe?
Yeah.
Work hacks?
Oh.
Work hacks?
Yes, it's called Work Hacks. It's on Amazon. I didn't do it to sell the book. I did it because I'm using this for my talking points, selling at trade shows.
Oh, you got 5 out of there. Maybe there are 6 more.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Other questions or concerns, things that could keep you from doing this better? Because I know some of you have done this for a long time. You have some old habits to break.
Yeah, and Bob down there, you see, Bob and I share a booth selling soccer balls, and we always have a big display of candy, and people will walk up kind of sheepishly. They want the candy, but they're kind of embarrassed to take it. And I always say, by all means, take as much as you want, but I've never in 8 years ever reached my hand across the table and shook their hand. And that's funny, I've always had that flame.
Yeah, there you go.
And
And
a storm, but it's always awkward when they stand there, and because a lot of times we're next to the elevator, so they're waiting for the elevator.
yeah, and time is of the essence. If the average person stays at your booth for 2 minutes, the clock is ticking, man. You got to get them cooking because you could get rushed at any time, and now you won't be able to give them that kind of attention. So right away, you have this little routine, Bill, and you say, "You want some candy, don't you?" And they go, "Yeah, I do." I go, "You can have the candy, but you have to answer one question." Fair enough? And they're intrigued, and you're smiling, and they go, "Oh, great, it sounds like a game show. What's the question?" And you make the question a qualifier, easy, something like, "What are you doing the balloons for?" What did you say it was?
Soccer, 4-way test soccer balls.
So it's got to be for youth, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, so here's the question. Here's the qualifier, the game show question. Here's the question. You can have candy if you answer this question. Do you like kids? What, is that fun? Who's going to say no? Everybody gets candy. And now you've opened up, like a crowbar, you've opened up the conversation about kids and soccer. I'm glad you like kids because we are involved with one of the avenues of service in Rotary, which is youth service. Have some candy and I'll tell you about our program. And you get it started. And while they're having the candy, you're yapping, right? You're already moving through your little sales pitch.
Excellent.
You got to love that, Bill.
Yeah, I love the soccer ball because I can hand it to them. They're standing there and they just kind of toy with it, toss it up and down while we're talking.
Love
They
it.
like to do that.
Love it.
What about if you had the fishbowl there, giving away, having a drawing the last day for some sort of gift or, something to give away to them to get them to put the card in the.
I love it. But you got to get it all tricked out, right? Do you have to be present to win? What time is the drawing? What kind of fanfare? Are you going to have any kind of fanfare for this? A lot of times these establishments, they have a spotlight outside, boop, boop. Everyone's like, what the hell's that about? Everybody wants to drive over and see it. You need something like that in the House of Friendship or the vendor display. And Kevin, we can all brainstorm on this and see what we can do for you. Maybe it's an announcement that comes from a PA downstairs. I don't know if we have a PA. I'm just talking out of my butt here. How about this? We have an event app. Can't we get you an announcement that says the so-and-so booth is doing their big drawing for the such and such in 30 minutes? You want to be there for that? Of course we can. We're going to need a little bit of notice.
Any kind of giveaway that makes more sense or is more attractive, have you found, and things like that? Or just...
Well, it has to be, I think it has to be important enough to get attention. It's hard to talk about this without, so what is it? Is it value? Is it fun? I mean, people do amazing things just for a refrigerator magnet.
Yeah.
But if it's a substantial thing, you want to make sure you get your
Okay.
Whatever attention it's worth. I see we have 3 minutes on the clock. What else? I have a question. And Alan, if you're trying to talk, maybe you're on mute. But here's the question: have you ever attended a Rotary event where they helped you like this in advance and they gave you tips about how to be more effective? Anybody?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. This is what we're trying to do. We create this this very same thing I'm telling you about. Be different. Be unique. Great Lakes Pets did a vendor sales thing before the thing. What? Right? I love that. Okay.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My question was, what are people likely thinking who are in their beginning stages of being Rotary president when they come and look at booths? What do you think is on their mind?
Oh, I wouldn't know, man. I've been in Rotary too long. I'm 25 years now. I can tell you if everything's new, they're paying attention to whatever's grabbing them, whatever's reaching out to them. You like a ghoul, like a Halloween ghoul. Look at my hands. Which one's coming at you, Of course, in a booth, you can't do that. You actually pull people in like that. It's too heavy. But why not ask them, if is it your first time to pets? Are you new? If they're young, you might even lead with that question because they look young. They must be new to Rotary. Probably a safe bet. What do you think of all this? There's that welcoming committee thing again. What do you think of all this? Is this your first pets? What do you think? Because the energy is much different at pets. It's a different deliverable. We have 1 minute left, and in our minute, I want to remind you my personal email address is Michael Caruso 6380. Michael Caruso 6380 at gmail.com. And my cell number is 248-224-9667. You're already connected to Kevin, and he can hook you up with me if you need it, but he is your primary contact. Kevin, thank you so much for setting this up tonight. I really appreciate it.
No, I thank you for doing it. It's great informational.
Great. So send me the recording. We're going to post this at the Facebook group is Get the Word Out Now. You want to join that group and promote your whatever you're selling. Not heavy, just nice and easy. and tell them you're going to be pets. You're looking forward to it. Okay. Thanks for being on with us tonight. I'm sorry we had the 40-minute timer tonight, I think with the free version, but better than nothing, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll see you in Kalamazoo, everybody. Nice to see you, Jeff and Mary.
Thanks,
Thank
we'll
you.
see ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.